Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm your host, Sir Stephen Topham at the third at your service. Today we're going to be talking about something a little bit odd and it's strange, obviously. A lot of you know there's an episode called Dirty Objects. Now, a lot of you might think, what the hell is Dirty Objects? A lot of it is all anagram to safeguard a lot of people. Yes, we totally agree. I won't mention no names because it was nighttime activity. Now, a lot of you that are being subdued or feel like uncomfortable or feel like you can't do nothing. This is not a nighttime activity we want to see on a hot days, not even everyday market. Normal. However, I haven't been reading the news, but I've been hearing about it, alright? Through other people. Right? I don't need to read the newspaper to understand everything. Right? Let me put this in blunt words, which a lot of adults will understand very clearly about when you when this odd activity is done at night, you have to respect everyone around you. Not just a pile of tents in the field where you can do business. Right? A lot of you know exactly where I'm coming from, and I'm not impressed with it, and I don't expect you to do it every day or every night, I would say in this terms. And I want you to do it in your own rooms, in your own bedrooms, nowhere else except that place, because that's your personal private area. You can let off steam in one area, but not like that. When you've got houses around you, they don't want to hear or exploit hearing humping noises, if you like to call it correctly, or acknowledging that you cannot do that. Especially in a community place, you need to respect other people around you. If you're not going to do that, then obviously be precautious. But I am going to make this as an etiquette proper advisement. If you are going to do what you're about to do at night, don't expect that to be the best nighttime activities you want to do at night. Right? I want you to respect yourself as you will respect others. Right? Right? I mean, a lot of people do this occasionally. A lot of people have made complaints, and I'm going to acknowledge that because I don't want to hear about it because it has what a lot of people don't understand about doing that type of activity at night. You need to be away from the actual village or town or city. You have to be on the outskirts of the area where it's not going to hit any houses where people can hear it on a constant night record. People know what I'm talking about, and a lot of you that had tents out there now a few nights ago, and that was in the Daily Mail, and they published it on a news article, is stating what you've been up to. Right? I don't think the community or the public or the people that actually live in that town want to hear humping noises like that during the night. Right? Okay, you want to let off steam, but do it in your own homes. Don't do it at night like that because that is a disgrace to what people want. It's respect. And you want respect, you got to earn it the hard way. A lot of people think I'm not going to express what you do with your personal private lives. Personal conflict of interest, I'm not getting involved, right? I have to respect my boundaries as I have to respect yours, right? If that was me that was in that tent, I will respect your boundaries and I always come prepared, right? You do not go in. A lot of people have written in black and white paper saying that they worry about your health, your safety, and your precautions, and knowing people. Why? You have to know the individual to do it before you do the triple X, as I call it. Why? A lot of people think this is a joke that I don't pick up on this or I don't look onto it. I do pick up on things like that. And you think I'm not going to poke the balls and say that's not a bullshit? No. Straight to the point. Right? When you do this, do that type of activity at night, especially when it's summertime, I don't expect you to hump hard. Right? That's what I don't want you to do, and I don't expect it to have it in my ear all the next day, working all your brains out and say, look, grow up. Right? Right? And the tents that was shown on this particular aerial photograph is the amount of trucks that James hit one day and got so dirty. Right? That tar manure, whatever you call it, that tar black wagon or whatever you want to call it, could be your, I don't want to be rude, cream pies, right? Or chum pies, as they call it in the adult terms, right? You have to be respectable, right? You have to respect the people around you, and the nighttime activity like that should be banned from within the village or any city or town. You have to do it somewhere where it's very far away from the people's houses. You do not do that in any fields or anything like that. Do it in your own homes. Don't discriminate. Right? You want me to laugh about it? No, I won't laugh about that. You think I don't hear about it straight away? Oh yes, of course I do. I'm one step ahead of everybody that's writing their articles every day, their news reports, everything. I get to know everything. So respect the people around you before you do what you need to do. Right? When it comes down to the ultimate choice, you do it in your own homes. Don't expect to do it in tents and then hump it up. Right? If you want to do it, there are places that you can go to that will accommodate your needs. Right? There are places to do it and there are places where you can do it. Right? Your houses is number one. Right? Because it's a safeguard and your privacy. Right? Two, when you do it in a field, watch out. People be hearing. Right? People can pick up. I get all of this on the chain of command, but I got to do it realistically. It's real, it's realistic, you can't change it. Right? You made a mistake, you didn't take safety precautions, and especially people telling the news, STIs, STDs, whatever you want to call them, and then you're asking yourself, you want respect? You're not respecting yourself by doing it all night. So I am warning you that I'm really ahead of schedule. So don't discriminate the people around you because a lot of you may be interested of doing it, but in a village, no. In the field, probably where there's a little bit of acre of land or somewhere where the grass, somewhere where it's out of the community's range, as they call it, bang, nail it. But I don't expect you to do it in public. Right? It's a true story. Don't. It's no BS to this. This is real life. Right? The other way of bloody putting this consecutively is that when the law problems go your way, you ended up getting sticky in a situation. So please, if you're gonna do that type of activity, especially a nighttime activity, I don't expect it to be when it's in black and white. When it's told in newspapers, when it's told in advance, you want dirty objects, you just make yourselves a dirty object. Right? A lot of people think that I'm not joking. I never joke about real life events. That's the thing about real life, right? So get real. When people know about this, I said there's dirty objects in that position. I said, look, if you want to do that type of nighttime activity, respect yourself, respect others, and respect the community as a whole. There's three things in play on all of this, right? When it comes down to the bottom of it, they, in the day, you really need to prioritize. Don't get pissed. You need to be straight, clear-headed when you do these type of things. Because when you're out there in public, you're representing yourself and your family, your friends, your connections, your colleagues. Doesn't matter. But the fact is, when we have friends, right, a lot of our friends could do a lot of things that they want to do in private, right? You have to do it in private to respect yourself. If you don't, then don't do it at all, right? You've been caught once. How many more times are you going to get caught this year? Right? So if I see tents in the village, watch out, because I'll be watching. It's real life. Don't get me wrong, but it's fact of what it is unfolding, right? So you had tents, people humping at night, people complained, bang. You want realism? You got it. It's a true story behind this, right? So it's called the episode called Dirty Objects, which I will put in the description, right? That explains it all, but it just does not do it in any community area. Why? Because when you're in a garden or in your field or whatever, you have to have privacy. Privacy is number one on a list. Right? When I expect to hear good things in the newspaper, I will know about it. If there's bad things, then I'll get notified. Right? When I don't hear about it, but I know it's unfolded, bang. Right? I don't expect you just to go and have a boom boom in a tent, as they call it. As doctors would put it. I will say it's damn true. Right? But respect yourself before you do it. Right? Because you have to be prepared. You have to have safety net in your place or safety net on yourself. And what I would say, right, people that are brought up in a respectful community or respectful city or a respectful area. They don't want to hear all of that BS or that kind of triple X. Right? A lot of you know where I'm coming from. And I don't want to disrespect you. But the fact is, if you're going to do that, do it in your own home. Right? Because people don't want to hear it. It's one of those things you have to minimize the sound to able to accommodate people's needs, not wants. So when it comes down to your nighttime activity of that type of particular activity, you respect yourself before you could even do anything because your respect is your number one. Right? That applies to the opposite sex as well, but you have to be decency enough to realise you've got others around you. Right? Your family name, your actual attributes of yourself, and you're respecting yourself, but you don't want to step that boundary, right? Unless you know that individual. If you've known that individual for years and years and years, then go ahead with it. But I don't expect an unknown against the unknown. Right? So you put the two unknowns together? No, 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 no. Always do a safety net. When I mean safety net, get protection. Always protection. And even that, when people think this is all a very easy, what you call let off steam, right? When you let off steam, you have to let it do it in your in what you would call in a safe net environment. Okay, there's not many places around here. Okay, right? I don't expect many places to advertise about the humping noises in the village, and they say, "Oh, there's certain people, which who I will not name, mentioned about STIs, STDs," and I said, "You know how to solve that problem? Grow up, mature yourself, and respect yourselves at the same time. You both have every individual or every opposite sex have to have boundaries. When they meet up, they have to have boundaries, safeguards, even that. But you cannot, when people what? Let me give you an example. Right, a lot of you know things can happen on that night that could bring you to, let's say, bring people together, or make a make a problem, or get someone pregnant, as it's another example, and you have to prioritize before you get in the tent or bed or anything. When you're at home, that's different. In your own home, you're basically in the control of your own respect. But I do not expect people to have tents in the village or a town where people can hear all your humping noises and get away with it. Right? I want you to realise the safety of sex, if you like to call it correctly, in the layman terms, it has to be done in your own private homes. Doesn't matter how hot or sticky it is. If you want to let off steam, but you do not do it in tents. Because when you do it in tents, right, you do not have a safe, what you don't have is a sound barrier, right? Which is what I'm trying to explain. A sound barrier means when there's no barriers or brick walls or anything like that, you haven't got a sound barrier to block the noises. So when the people hear it all out loud, blah blah blah, they try to sleep, right? So you've got to have to be prioritised around it, right? When you're out there and about and trying to organise yourself, it's all going to be in a description, but it's a true story of the base facts. Right, when you think about people taking this responsibility, they have to respect themselves before they can do anything. Right, you have to respect yourself before you get into bed with anyone. Right, if you know the individual for so long, like over 8 years, 2 years, 3 years above, or somebody like that, of course you could do it, but do it in safe precautions, because you never know what the opposite sex may have or got. You know, in the day, you don't even realise from right from wrong at the moment, right? A lot of people don't get it. When a lot of things add up, they calculate up. It's no joke. It's no rumour, and this is no lie, because been in the newspaper of the Daily Mail. So the Mail, as they call it, right? It's been put in that. It's been put in this. I establish you when you're doing that type of activities, especially at night. Don't think it's just a natural reason to do it, right? A lot of people, if there was a lot of people in the village that want to do it, well, do it in your own homes, because then you've got a sound barrier that safeguards your sounding or hearing. Right? A lot of people can hear it from the phone walls, as they say, but it's not as loud as one, two, three, four. Right? So when you look at it and feel like you want privacy, think about your respect, your honesty, and then the boundaries. Right? When you do these things at young age, especially at younger age, you have to put standards and protocols. Why? A lot of people know this has all happened and it's knowing it's all true. Do you think I will falsify this? No, 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 no. This is all true and it's unfolded. Right? When people criticize about that the next morning because they couldn't sleep, always respect others as well as yourself. Because when you do it, you've got to be realistic on it. It's not a game. This is based on a lot of things that you do not expect on a day to day basis, right? Whatever is happening that night or that particular, this is no ordinary nighttime activity, right? Because it doesn't always happen, right? So one time off, I get it. But did you respect the other people? No, because there was no sound barrier, there was no protection to stop people from hearing other people. You didn't have no safeguards in place. You didn't even have protection. People did worry about you. I get that. The next day in the morning, they did worry about you because of safety, health, hygiene. Right? You want respect. You have to gain it. Respect comes a long way. But I'm pushing my little boat to say this is all true, and I'm not going to bullshit for the bush. Right? I know people do it the right way, the wrong way, whatever. When they do it the wrong way, they're ending up getting caught. Right? When you do it the right way, you then get respect. Why? I'm trying to help people understand this is no joke. I don't want to hear about it because I know it's your private lives. I don't intervene in people's private lives. I'm just making sure that people get respected for their sleep, their personal lives in general, and then ending up feeling like waking up the next morning feeling like they had a good night's sleep. In the day, if you don't have a good night's sleep, no one would. Why, if you did this as a regular nighttime activity, watch out, because people have to think of others before themselves. And they don't always think about that when they're on a drink as well, may I add. So, when I say this, I am watching you. Eyes and ears everywhere. It's not a joke. It's not a laughing matter. I want people to be respected. Right? I want you to be respected. There's a lot of people that do it in their own private homes because they've got a sound barrier up. Right? You've got some safeguard protection. What I mean, it's like that. But then you've got to when you're outside in a public area, no, 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 no. Think about yourselves first before you can even think about everybody around you before you start doing it. Because when that comes down to the ultimate timing of it, I said it's a bit disgraceful. Yes. Do I think? Do you think it was appropriate? The answer would have been no, because you were too confined in the community. So when you look at people, look around yourselves, think about it. I've been getting it's like having a sex education put in front of you again for adults to realise right from wrong. You have to put it all together, put safety first, hygiene, then people's respect around you. You have to respect yourself before you do it. And if you don't respect yourself, then you can't respect anybody. It's like I said, there are certain nighttime activities that require privacy. And privacy is a number one key in all of this. When privacy is in place, it safeguards you. Right? I don't expect you to feel like, what? Shit, he caught us all out. Of course I have. Every one of you that did that night. As that example, do you think I said when it goes in the newspaper, it goes global. Did you know that? It goes global once it hits the newsstands. No bullshit. Nothing like that. Straight to the point. I'm not going to be having people saying what. This is no ordinary nighttime activity, I must admit. But did you understand where I'm coming from? It's like teaching the adults again about sex education. But be self aware of yourself and respect. Because your respect comes first. Sound barrier needs to be put in place because you have to be safeguarded. That's why people said, in the long run, if you want to do it in your own homes. I don't expect it to be in the newspaper on the next day or the following day to follow up to say this is what's happening, bang. But when they mention about STDs or STIs or whatever you name it, always respect yourself. Because if you don't respect yourself, you don't gain anything. I am willing to do everything that's possible that's on the actual situation. So if you don't respect yourself, don't bother getting a tent out where the sound can come out. Because the sound barrier needs to go up. But respect yourself. There are better tents out there, which I would say, that might cover up most of the sound. But it's not going to put it in black and white. So please, if you're going to do it in your own homes. Because I don't expect it to happen in the newspaper and then you get caught and then you get shamed. I just do not like people doing it in the highest regard of not respecting themselves. And that's the key element about respect. It's like I said, letting off steam is fine, but do it in your own home. If you're out and about, there are places where you need to be try and respect others than just yourselves. A lot of people will start criticizing. Then they will actually think about your health and safety on top of that, and then everybody has to have safeguards in place. Why? If you're going to do that type of direction or you want to do it in private, make sure it's not in the range of villagers or people where they can hear it. Because the more in the day, nighttime activity like that requires safeguards in place, right? You do not just put up a tent and just do the business, as they say. You have to prioritize, and you must and also respect others. But I don't expect it to be in the newspaper with the aerial photograph of all of you showing all your tents up, and then you got caught. Right? It's not my doing. I'm just passing the message. I said always carry safety. Safety is number one as well. And everybody's thinking sex is good. Yes, of course. But do it in your own home. Because it's safety. It's safety. Safeguarding yourself. Privacy. Set sound barriers up. People don't hear it on a high note. So please, if you're going to do that type of discussion, I know a lot of you know this is all real life. You know it's just happened. You know it's in the newspapers. Just have to look. Pride, it's all in the newspaper. So don't say anything else because it's all true. Anyway, I want to put that across because I don't want it to happen again. Thank you very much. Thank you very much at every angle.